Welcome to Wisdom Women, the podcast where we meet empowered women and uncover the stories that shape them. We dive into the role models who lifted them up, the moments that tested them, and what empowerment truly means and what it doesn't. From burlesque dancers turned breathwork facilitators to moms who moonlight as entrepreneurs, the wisdom here is raw, real, and undeniably contagious. So get ready to be inspired by the women who lived it. And today I have my guest here, Cynthia, to talk more about empowerment today. Welcome, Cynthia.
Well, thank you, Rachel. I'm so glad to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
I haven't known you that long, and I have to say, you know, the few times that we've hung out at the Red Rose Temple or in the Poconos, I feel like this woman is just like does not question who she is, what she's into, what she's here to do. And I find that to be a huge kind of image of an empowerment, embodiment, even of that type of energy. I'm always kind of, gravitate towards that. And I'm really excited to hear more about you and get to know you better. So why don't you, kick it off and just tell us a little bit, Cynthia, like what you do and what kind of services or things that you do in this world.
Yeah, and I want to just acknowledge what you said. I
Oh,
wasn't
thank
always that way. I used to be shy and anxious and hide who I was and never thought I was good enough. And, people, I was afraid people would think I was weird. And this empowered feeling that I have and this joy and this freedom, it's quite new. It's the past 4
Well, it's
years.
working.
But yeah, so since I've experienced that joy and freedom, I felt a real calling and a real passion to then help other women find their voice and their freedom of how they want to express themselves in the world and to really just fully embody our truth and not give a damn if everybody approves. Not everybody's going to approve or understand it, and that's okay. We're all here to do different things and bring our own unique magic. So I just love working with women to also rewire any subconscious blocks and things like that, because to move us forward, to do the work we're here to do, there's often so much stuff that we have to work through. And it's just, really nice to be able to say goodbye to a lot of those limiting beliefs that we've been taught.
I believe it. Oh, well, that's like an honorable trade to have these days. I think that, like I've had guests that like that's a big topic for us. Like, it's hard to do this work. It's hard to be kind of unashamedly doing sacred feminine women's circles and witchy type of things and breath work, which, is of course all of these things are getting a little more trendy and actually becoming, I think, more open-minded. People are open-minded and accepting and saying, why not? This crystals and all of it. And I myself was I don't know. I think I was always into it. My mother was a belly dancer and I kind of got into it. But how did you get into some of this work? Well, first of all, you currently do, like we were talking about the the Flower Moon Festival next week. So what are some of the ways that you work to help women, become empowered and do the work that you do?
Yeah. Well, I do. I feel like I have 3 routes that women can go on for this empowerment journey. And one is doing the subconscious rewiring with the beautiful method I use, and I use it on myself as well when I need to. And that's, in a one-on-one coaching container, for either a short period of time or it can be extended. And then the other avenue, which we'll talk about, a little more later on, is Radiant Reclamation retreats, which I just started this year. And I'm also starting a movement called Radiant Reclamation / Facebook group. It'll be my first group. And the third way is financial freedom. I have an avenue for women to fully fund their missions, which is what I'm doing, so that women can really be comfortable holding wealth. Because for me, being spiritual and being wealthy, I did not think they went together.
Right.
For some reason in my mind, because I was always going to be a missionary. And in past lives, apparently I took vows of poverty. I was constantly like a priest or a nun, and I almost did it again in this lifetime.
Not this life.
And then it shifted. So I had to get comfortable allowing abundance of all things, including money, which is not evil, which I was kind of taught, but that's the love of money is evil. I don't love money, but I do want to use it for good. I know
Yeah.
that I wanna really do so much. I wanna be a philanthropist is my goal. That is my
Okay.
goal. So anyway, um, that's the answer to your question. Like, I really want women to have freedom in all areas of their lives and flourish in all areas of their lives. So I try to
Yeah.
offer the full package.
Yeah, because I think there is that stigma of that if I get into maybe women divine feminine work or working in circles or some of this, I am going to be a wandering gypsy that sort of has to just well, like most of the ancient sages would do, they would be ascetics who would go out and they would just sit and like raise the vibration of the world and just collect. And a lot of the cultures understand that when the monks come through town, we feed them and make sure that they're taken care of, but they don't do that here in America. If you are trying to raise the vibration and do what all of these beautiful souls do around the world, you need an income, right, as well, and finding a way to balance the two mindsets around money.
And I certainly think there are places for people to hold those types of lives that you mentioned. Like, definitely, some people are called to that. They
Yeah.
are called to that.
Mm.
And my alter ego would just be living the simplest life with no technology, off grid. My alter ego would be just in the woods somewhere, happy, just communing with nature and the fairies all day long.
So cute. I know. It would be nice. A nice balance. I hear you.
Yeah, but
I
I
don't
do
know.
feel called to I've always had since a young age, I my true desire was to help people get out of pain and move beyond pain of any
Mm.
kind of pain. And I was a massage therapist for over 30 years and a
Oh,
holistic
interesting.
practitioner. So I helped people get out of physical pain.
Right.
And now I feel like I help people move beyond emotional pain
Mhm.
and the pain of the smalling that has happened through patriarchy.
Mm,
The smalling. I heard somebody use that phrase and I was like, yeah, that's a really
smalling.
good way to describe it because it's a process
Yeah.
that has happened to women.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally believe that. And I'm curious, like, so like if you did massage therapy and this, and how did you kind of move more into this? How did you become brave and I don't
Brave and
know,
bold.
just
Well,
fall
yeah,
into the
I
work?
am an Aries.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Another
um,
fire sign, Sagittarius here.
and what happened actually was over 4 years ago, I was led to the Akashic Records and I
Oh, yeah.
certified to become a reader
Okay.
for
And the
myself
Akashic
and
Records,
others.
if some don't know, is sort of
Yeah,
the book of life, right? Like
Yeah,
it's
it's where our soul's
storyline.
entire journey is held, the past, the present, and possible futures. You can
Mhm.
get information, you can talk to your
And
guides.
people can download and kinda tap into the knowledge of
Yeah.
it.
And
Yeah.
I learned to do healings in them in the records as well. So it's fascinating. I love doing that kind of work. And that just lit up a path of joy for me. And
Mm.
then it led me to the subconscious training I did. And then I was led to a weekend retreat, a sexual awakening and healing retreat. And that was when my life really shifted. And the woman said, I run my week long retreat. And I was like, yeah, I got to go to that in England. And I was like, no, I don't need to go to England. Never wanted to go to England in my life. I thought I'd travel and skip England altogether. I had a lot of stereotypes around it
Oh, okay.
concerning the weather, the food, and the people.
Okay.
Yeah, so anyway, I went there, and that's what put me on the divine feminine path because I ended up in Glastonbury, which is Avalon. It felt like home. I never was anywhere in my life where I felt like I had come home completely. I started weeping. It
Wow.
activated a priestess remembrance in me, and then I started on a priestess path and initiated as a priestess of sacred sound last fall. And I just want to keep going back to Avalon. I want to bilocate there. I want to bring other women there to experience the deep healing, transformation, magic. It's a living goddess culture there.
Yeah, I've heard I
Yeah.
do follow a few people that have I've never I mean, I've been there, but I was never there in that
Phenomenal.
capacity. I was with my kids, I went to Tintagel and stuff, and now I'm like, "Gosh, I can't believe I missed it." Like, the
Amazing.
towns really understand
Yeah.
about the goddess and,
And the town itself is so quirky. I love quirky. Like
me too.
there's a guy there that walks around looking like he's Jesus of Nazareth. Like I don't know. And then there was Merlin, but he passed away. He was a
Oh.
real figurehead in the town. And there's so many different faiths. There's all different faiths drawn to that area, the heart chakra of Gaia,
Yeah.
and ley lines cross 3 times there, which is very unusual. The
Oh,
Michael and Mary ley
interesting.
line crossed 3 times under the tour, at Chalice Well, and at the Abbey.
Wow, and
So the
ley
first
lines are
Christian,
kind of
yeah.
energy points that
Yeah,
circle
they
around
hook
the earth
up, they
and
connect sacred sites all around the world. They're
right,
energy
like,
lines.
even, like, I
Yeah.
think the pyramids have one and they're or,
Yeah,
like,
and they
even
connect to like Avalon. There's
wow.
so it'd be interesting to see that on a world map or something. But yeah, the
Yeah.
first Christian and largest and richest Christian church was there. And so a lot of Christians go there. There's the King Arthur myth, and
Okay.
Mary Magdalene is said to have gone there. Jesus is said to have gone there as a child. Joseph of Arimathea, his uncle, I think historically they have proven that he was there, and his crypt is there. He
Hmm,
started the church that turned into the Glastonbury church.
wow.
And yeah, there's a lot of different faiths: Hindu, Buddhist, Christian, Catholic. Like, they all get along, they all tolerate each other. It's a beautiful representation of what the world could be
And you
if we
being there
all,
was kind of like an awakening happened for you,
yeah, on the
um,
retreat, on the Sacred
on
Sexual
the
and Awakening
retreat.
Healing Retreat, a lot of awakening there. And then this past summer, to explore what happened to me when I felt like home 2 summers ago, I
Yeah.
gave myself a month to live there.
Oh, okay.
And that's when I had that calling to do a retreat this summer.
Oh,
So it
wow.
just kept expanding.
Wow. So exciting. And we'll definitely dig in more into the retreat by the end of this conversation. But thank you for sharing all that because that's always, it always just fascinates me how I can have some people on here that just were in a totally different world and then something happened and they're all of a sudden they're a psychic medium or they're doing hypnotherapy or what, the breath work and connecting so deeply to sort of their calling of what they really were meant to do and they're doing it well and it's successful and all of that. So I'm excited to share more about all that stuff you're doing. So but I'll move on for our first question that I do on Wisdom Women podcast. Here we ask our guests, and every story is a little different. And I love to hear the responses. So, Cynthia, my first question for you is who were the women, role models in your life, growing up or recently, that were role models of empowerment, embodiment, people that really sort of, they maybe perhaps they didn't guide you, but that were the image of something that led you to empowerment?
Yeah, I'm glad you said recently, because I thought about this question ahead of time and I thought I had like no role models growing up of
Okay. Yeah.
empowerment,
Valid.
because all the women in my religion were, some
Disempowered.
yeah, yeah, disempowered to say the least, right?
Okay.
So I thought about that and I thought, I didn't growing up, I didn't see any images of that. But lately, this past year, I have been meeting so many women, and many of them younger than me. I just turned 59, so a lot of them are
Wow.
younger than me, but I'm so fascinated to see them stepping onto these new paths that they've never taken before. And let me tell you, I have met countless women now who have been called to start leading retreats. There
Uh-huh.
is something happening.
Oh.
There is something big happening with the new earth coming in,
Mhm.
and all these women now being led to lead retreats in the sacred sites around the world. And
Right.
I just met a beautiful woman who's leading them in Croatia, which is the heart of Europe.
Yeah.
And soul sisters, like, we just feel instant connection with each other. So I'm just so amazed to see how empowered they are at such a younger age than I am, even like stepping on this path. And it really thrills my soul to see it.
Mhm.
And yeah, I love that. Anytime I see a woman who just steps into her truth fully, no matter what it is, and she just claims it, that inspires me.
It's very brave, right? Like, sometimes it can be very, was like on the fringe, kind of like counterculture in a lot of ways. I mean, of course, like we're talking about, it's on YouTube and TikTok and everywhere, like, people are showing the ways that they can practice the sacred feminine work, but it's still not like something that, I show up on my parents' night here in the suburbs of New Jersey and be have all my crystals and like really get into it. Cause it's not like I don't think people are so anti. Some are definitely a little off put by it. But some just they don't get it or they don't understand, maybe the deeper, it's like meditation, like a little bit more, like, it's a little deeper. And, I think empowerment does have to take that into account. I mean, it's just, it is not the norm all the way, right? Like of being someone that does this work, leads retreats, you
Stepping
know.
out in faith and trust. I'm telling you, it does take courage to step into the unknown, and that's what I feel like I've been doing, and that's what these other women are doing.
Yeah.
But getting outside of your comfort zone is where the magic happens. When you step beyond your comfort zone into something new that you feel pulled towards, or the universe is showing you signs for, that's where your soul starts to really bloom, and that's where the magic really does happen. And I feel like that's where the happiness and joy start to expand too.
Oh, a question just popped in my head, and I think this is such a great thing. I would love to hear your perspective on this. I was talking lately about somebody about how, especially we're coming into our 30s, and we've maybe or early 40s, and maybe women that are kind of done having kids, perhaps, maybe not. And the calling starts happening of doing something different. If they're, even if they're in an established career, and they start feeling the signs, as Brene Brown says, like the universe whispers in your ear, and it's like, I'm not effing around. Like, it's time to kind of do the thing that you really needed. You're done procreating. You're done finding a mate. We got you. Now it's time for you to step up in all of your experience and maturity. What do you feel are the, like, I love to kind of prescribe, like, what are the signs that someone is perhaps being called to do some of this more fringe type of work around women's retreat type of things? Like, what do you feel are the signs in a woman's body, mind?
Bumps.
Huh?
Truth bumps, people call them.
Truth.
But yeah, like when you're hearing somebody talk and you just get full body goosebumps. And I feel like that's
Ah,
spirit's way of saying, pay attention.
okay.
This is important. This is maybe, this is for you. This could be part of your path, or maybe this is a connection that will help you. This person is meant to be in your life.
Mm,
Um,
goosebumps.
yeah. And then when I was in Avalon, it happened all the time.
Mm,
Flowing synchronicities and magic, it happened it happens now at home too, but there's something about that vortex of energy
mm.
where it happens all the time to everybody. Because if you mention it to any of the shop owners, they're like, "Oh yeah, that's normal for
It's normal
Glastonbury."
here.
There's a Facebook page called Normal for Glastonbury
Oh my gosh, how funny.
because it's so abnormal. Abnormal, but it's normal for Glastonbury. But yeah, so I feel like, we can ask for signs. I often forget to ask for signs, but you can ask for signs. Ask for really loud, big signs if you need them big, and your team will light the way. And yeah, I feel like whatever lights up your soul,
Yeah.
I'm all about following our bliss, following our heart. So if women start to feel something really weigh on their heart or calling their heart, I feel like that's meant to be acknowledged and followed.
Right. Right. Because sometimes I know, even myself, where I'm just like, okay, later. I don't know. And then really allowing yourself to be in the mindset of receiving and hearing and goosebumps, whatever, like I think we have to be kind of ready to maybe there's more. I mean, I'm a person that believes that there's probably more signs than I'm realizing. And sometimes I'm just, my dial is turned down a little bit and I'm distracted or in obsessing on worry things or things like that. And what are ways that, like, we could tap into those signs a little more? What do you think?
Call it the soul lit path. Whatever lights up my soul, I follow. That's what I've been doing for the
Oh,
past few years, and
yeah.
it's been leading me to amazing places. Our soul never wants to harm us
Hmm.
or lead us in a bad way. So I feel like we can trust it. We can always trust the guidance of our soul and
Mhm.
our heart versus our ego or our mind. Although there's times when obviously you need to bring some logic into it and
Right, right.
maybe plan and have structure and things like that. But the ego is meant to serve the soul, not the other way around.
The ego is meant to serve the soul. Yes, that's so true. Like, I mean, I know that's crazy talk for some people, because it's like I don't know the difference between, well, what's my gut instinct and what's my soul and what's driven by fear and trauma versus a real truth of something. I know that's a hard path and probably a very long conversation, but discerning through that, you feel like there's like baby steps people could take to start hearing the soul or the real truth that is trying to guide us.
There's something that I learned to do,
Mm,
and it's really easy. Well, let me say, a lot of us aren't fully in our bodies, and I am still learning to be fully in my body. For most of my life, I was not really in my body. I was just in my mind,
yeah,
and I
me too.
wasn't really feeling or noticing the sensations that were coming up, or I would ignore them. You know how you get gut feelings about people or situations, or maybe you're like closing off and you feel like you shouldn't be in that situation, but you ignore it.
Right.
Women are very good at ignoring things that they're feeling in their body and trying to fit in or
Hmm.
people please.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
mean, most of us have spent our entire lives doing that. So, really tapping into what messages are we receiving from our body. And one great way to do this is to get quiet, take some breaths, and envision breathing in and out of your heart, in and out of your heart space. So you're really bringing your awareness into your heart chakra. And then I did this with people for a minute for an exercise. Tell yourself a truth, something that you know is true. Color of your eyes, whatever, something that you absolutely know
A
is true.
literal truth. Yeah.
And just notice the sensation in your heart space. Then tell yourself an absolute lie and start to notice how your body feels. And do that until you can really sense the difference between a truth and a lie. And then you can, use that method for asking insights or, should I do this? Is this in my best interest? And and start to be more aware of what is your body telling you, because your higher self always knows the answer and what's best for you, even if it doesn't make sense to your logical mind. That's where faith and trust come in, and stepping into the unknown.
It's a muscle. I believe that. Thank you for that exercise, Cynthia, because that is like kind of that litmus test of like, how do I know? And I think that's beautiful. I think many people could really use that and get to practice that as like a practical way to engage with body, intuition, and
And
all of
for
those
me, and it might
things.
feel different to different people, but when
Yeah.
I tell myself a truth, it feels like my heart is expanding.
Okay.
When I have a lie or something that's not good for me, something, it feels like it's constricting, like it's
Constricted,
shutting down.
smaller, right.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. I love that. I'm gonna try it for sure tonight. I'm gonna give that a chance because I literally, it's so silly, but I've even at some points when I'm like not in my body, not asking where I need to be asking or praying or coming together. I'm like, I had this app on my phone that was like a coin flipper, and I had to get rid of it. I said, this is ridiculous, Rach. Like, this is a tech algorithm thing. I can't do this anymore.
That's
But it
so
was a good,
funny.
it was a sign. It's all right. I had to get back on track. Which we're human. Oh, I love this. Thank you so much. And so I think you've spoken so much about empowerment, and I really love to hear about like women coming into their strength and their purpose here. So this is the part where I'll usually pull a card for us to kind of tap into the energies that we've been discussing today. And we were talking a bit before we came on to record about Mary Magdalene a little bit. And you had a friend that had a book, and I too am sort of just dabbling in the lost gospel of Mary Magdalene, along with Judas and these other books that were not included. But Megan Watterson's deck is called the Mary Magdalene Oracle, which is really cool, and it's a little deeper. So I got it out because I know you and I can kind of get on the level with this a little bit and enjoy what comes up. So I am just going to clear the cards, and then I'm going to start shuffling them. And whenever you feel called to say stop, I will stop and pull that card.
Stop.
Oh my gosh, I said it in the same time in my head. I go, I think it's here. And then you said it right then. Oh, wow, this one's beautiful. I think the camera flips it around, but I'll read it. It is called The Third Power. Melody is my greatest strength. Oh, this is very deep on here. That's really beautiful. And I'll read the writing for it. The third power, that's surrender. Where is the third power? Oh, here we go. Ignorance is Our ultimate blind spot. It's the insular thought that we exist somehow as the lead role in a movie the ego is directing. Ignorance is a profound lack of vision. It's an inability to actually see ourselves and the impact of our actions. There's a powerful exchange between desire and the soul, like we're talking about in Mary's gospel. Desire in this dialogue is what the ego craves. It isn't the desire of the soul, it's the unconscious needs of the ego. So this egoic desire says to the soul in Mary, chapter 9, paragraph 2, in quotes, I did not see you go down, yet now I see you go up. So why do you lie, since you belong to me? And the soul responds, I saw you. You did not see me, nor did you know me. You mistook the garment I wore for my true self, and you did not recognize me. End quote. The ego thinks it is the true self, but the ego is actually only the garments or the layers of the identity that the ego acquires. What's true is the soul beneath all of those egoic desires. What's true is what remains constant, even as our egoic desires shift from one need to the next. The way to dismantle ignorance is to see through the constantly shifting desires of the ego. It's to see that the egoic desires are like clouds in the sky and the soul is the sky itself. Humility is our greatest strength. If we can let the garments of the ego fall, we can see ourselves more fully and recognize what's lasting. And if we have the strength to be humble enough to understand that our ignorance is only human, then we get to experience the way that our forgiveness is also divine. Soul voice meditation is, what am I ready to see that's deeper than this egoic desire? What do you think of that?
I love that. I love that. And
Mm,
it's like the divine feminine way of holding power is
yeah.
not power over, it's a humbleness too. You've got the humility. It's not that striving to
Mhm.
control. And I feel like that plays into it, that the humility,
Mm,
the humility to lead.
yeah. And like another definition of like empowerment, I think, is that confident connection to what is true and what is ego, basically. Wow. That is like a beautiful card. I love the artwork in these too. Well, I hope that connects. I feel like this is like a deeper card I want to ponder a little bit and like, I'll
They're
send it to
all
you later if you want
There's
and
a
like
lot
really.
in all those cards for sure. It's
These
so
are
funny that
these
we
are
have the same deck.
these are
I
I
have
don't
some
pull
of
them
the
out all
cards.
the time.
Yeah, I have
I
2
don't.
cards on my altar right now that I just drew the other day.
Oh,
Guys.
from this?
Yeah, from that deck. I have the
Oh
same
my
exact deck.
gosh.
Yeah.
How funny. Yeah, it's ones that I can't do a rushy pull one and like, oh, that's cool. I have to like be ready to sit and read and kind of contemplate what I just got into. It's really
Yeah, and
beautiful.
those kinds of cards too, it's like downloading codes, just seeing it. If you keep it out and you look
Yeah.
at it, I feel
Yeah.
like there's a transmission that happens with certain kinds of oracle decks. They put the
Yeah.
sacred geometry in there, and
Oh,
yeah.
that's so true. Do you have a deck that you're using a lot lately? You have a
I have
favorite?
so many different decks.
Me
It
too. It's a
depends
problem.
if I'm in the mood to, I have a dark goddess deck and
Oh,
light workers deck. Yeah.
right.
So
That's one for every mood, every
yeah,
season, every mood.
fairies, and there's so many decks, beautiful decks out there. I always see more that I'm like, oh, I want to get that one next.
It's a problem. My husband has to like stop me every time we go to like we were just in Salem. We went to go visit to check it out and
Oh,
I'm like, I gotta keep me out of the shops. Gotta keep me out of the shops. I'm always looking for decks. I've got enough, just enough. Oh, it's
that's
fine.
so interesting. You
I got a
mentioned.
snake bracelet instead. I was like,
Oh, I need a
let's.
snake bracelet. A friend of mine from Avalon um felt called to go visit Salem. She's coming over here to go to
Oh,
Salem. I think it's her
wow.
first trip to the US. I'm not sure, but
How nice. I
yeah.
liked it. It was very, there was an energy there of some kind, of some sort of like, there's a lot of honoring of the story and the history of
Mm.
the witch trials. And it's a very big artistic community. I bet it's a little similar to Glastonbury a lot of young kids coming there. There's a lot of, um, uh, queer population that is like intricate into like all the downtown and the events and the artwork on it was really really fun. I'm
Oh,
glad to have
fun.
seen it. It was cool. Have you been there yourself?
College nearby there.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
North of Boston. Yeah. So I went
Very
there
cool.
years ago. Another
Yeah.
lifetime. Another lifetime.
Another time. Well, thank you so much, Cynthia, again today. And I know you have a couple of things coming up that are really
Yeah,
exciting. And I would
yes.
let's hear it. What do you got
All
going
right,
on?
all right. I'll save the one we're doing together for the last one.
Okay, okay.
So, so the first thing that's coming up is in July. It's coming up soon. So if you have any interest, check out the website that I'm sure will be somewhere accessible for you, and reach out to me if you have any questions. It's Sisters of Avalon Radiant Reclamation. You heard me talk about the amazing place of Avalon, and so many women I've met feel like it's their home. They go back year after year. They don't want to leave. And it's just so life transforming. It's hard to put into words. It's really something that has to be experienced. It's wonderful for women that are in transition in their lives, like newly separated, divorced, or
Yeah.
changing careers, or, looking for clarity. Gives you a lot of clarity when you're there.
Mhm.
And the other thing that we're both doing is Moonflower Festival for those of
Mhm.
you in Northeast Pennsylvania at the West End Fairgrounds. Link will also be accessible to
Yep,
you.
we'll put that in there.
Yeah, and we're both facilitating there some really beautiful
So
things.
what are the tell I was so excited hearing about your the tent that you're setting up. What is
That
your event?
Okay, so I will have the Avalon Temple tent with my daughter, and I brought back the sacred waters of Chalice Well and White Spring, and they're in tiny little bottles to be gifted if you want to stop by and get some water that you can use in ritual. And also, I brought back the flame of Avalon, and there'll be an explanation of what's in the flame and how I got the flame and what that means. And then you can take a candle that's been lit by that flame and take that home with you and pass the flame on to other people as well. It also holds the Hiroshima peace flame in it. It's amazing
Wow.
all the flames they combined into this beautiful flame that was kept lit. And then for facilitating, I'll be doing guided visualizations to meet your
Mhm.
inner priestess through the mists of Avalon,
Mm.
and a little sound. And at the tent, I'll also offer some donation-based sound healing and channeled messages. Everything will be donation based, so
So lovely.
everybody can afford it, and
Yeah.
it's just we want everybody to be able to experience it.
Oh,
So
that's so exciting. And the Flower Moon Festival is Sunday, May 18th. I believe it starts at about 10:30 or 11
11 to
a.m.
7.
11 to 7. It's a full day of events of people like me and coaching and BUTI I'll have going on there. And Cynthia will have her amazing, which I think like your inner priestess. I'm hoping I can get over there to do that one as well and try it out and get some clarity and feel some of that Glastonbury energy. But it's not to be missed. This is an amazing group of women that are organizing it and are just making it really special. So I'm really excited, and I'm going to be seeing you. I'm sure I'm going to come over. I'm going to come over and have to
Come
try
over
out
and get your
your
little spirit soul painting. My daughter will be doing little
and a
spirit
spirit soul
soul
painting.
paintings. She did ours, and I was like, oh yeah, that's really nice. I like it.
How lovely! Oh, I can't wait. So, anything else, like, or how people can find you? Like, do you have a or we can put the website link
You
in
can
here as
find
well.
me on my Facebook profile.
Okay.
Also, I can give you my professional email, which
Okay.
is cynthia@bemorejoy.com.
Okay.
People can email me or Facebook. Currently, I do not have a website yet. So
That's great. It's not the more and more they're like, you don't need it.
that's what I
It's not
was told.
necessary. You don't. Oh, well, this is such a wonderful conversation, Cynthia. I really appreciate you coming on and sharing more about your visions of empowerment, and your experiences around the world, which just sounds so exciting. And I can't wait to watch your spaces and see everything that you bring to more women, just like us,
Um,
the women that are
Thank
coming up in the
you.
world.
Thank you
So
so
thank
much.
you. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, this has been awesome. If this is great. I do ask anyone to like and subscribe this episode and add it in, share it around. If you know anybody else looking for some more of this beautiful wisdom to have in their day and their earbuds, and check out all the links for Cynthia. I'll have them down in the information below. And I guess we'll see you this weekend. Bye,
Yeah.
Cynthia.
See you soon.
Bye.